Hello, everyone. You can see it's Redmond's football report, everyone. Hi, this is my father, my dad. You can call him Martin. My name is Redmond. Over to you, Dad.
Okay, so our twice weekly look at games coming up, games been played. We're going to have a look back at the week and the scores, pick our game of the week, and then look at previews for the midweek games. So let's first have a look at our guesses and the actual results from during the week. You can see there quite a few different results, some big scores over the week. We had
5-0. We did not expect that.
No, we thought Saprissa would win, but not quite by that much. Napoli beat Pink Bari to go over them in the Italian women's table, in the Italian Feminine Serie A. Probably got that all messed up. Defensa Justicia won their first ever international title, which is pretty impressive, beating the more fancied Lanús. So they now have a footballing in a continental history there.
They have a cup in their hands.
And speaking of cups in their hands, the other major cup final of the weekend was Sporting Club playing against Braga in the Portuguese League Cup final.
I got the score right.
You got the score exactly right, as Sporting Club beat Braga 1-0 in Leira. Burkina Faso held Cameroon to a draw, and in doing so, that puts Cameroon in second place in their group in the African Nations Championship, and they're on through to the quarterfinals. Sanat Naft surprised us by falling at home to Sefan in a game that has not been won by the away team in something like 9 years.
We have a 3-3 draw, a very, very, very interesting game.
Yes, that one that neither of us actually saw, where Larne got held by Crusaders. I'm impressed. I thought Cruz might at least would get the draw, but I didn't think it to be such a high-scoring game.
Yeah, 6 goals in that full game.
Yep. Guinea scored their 4th goal of the tournament to draw 1-0 with Zambia, meaning they're still playing, they're still in it, or potentially out of it. With the next game, we'll come back to Guinea in a little bit. Yeah. While Juventus did their perfunctory defeat of Bologna.
You got the score exactly right.
You did indeed at 2-0. But Juventus seem to be back after their little blip. Juventus women, of course, no blip for them. 5-0 win against Hellas Verona, including one cracking goal. I think it was the 5th goal, maybe. But Girelli, Boninsea, Hertig, and the rest of them, they're flying at the top of the table there.
And Barcelona gets a good win off with a 2-0 lead.
LK clearly not up to it. And this is a Messi-less Barcelona, so maybe they're on their way back. Hard to say. And the last game of the...
it's Man United, Liverpool. They weren't able to hold it up, and Man United just slips in one more goal before Liverpool could get an equalizer. Almost like Crusaders and Larne, a very close score.
Yes, that was a cracking game. That was on the BBC and or ESPN or whatever you're watching, wherever you're watching yourself.
If you could see it, that was very good. Tell us comments down below. What were the goals?
It ends off a bad week for Liverpool, I think it's fair to say. We have more games to come, and so before we get to that, our game of the week, I have picked, there was a number of choices, a 3-3 draw, a 3-2 game. Well, I'd see that and raise you Roma beating Spezia 4-3 after their 4-2 game midweek, which was a mad game. The 4-3 game was a mad game too, but it is not the game of the week. The game of the week happened early hours of Saturday morning when Western United beat Perth Glory 5-4, in fact. It was a mental game. Western, I have the thing on FOTMob in front of me. Western went 1-0 up after 10 minutes. Then there was nothing until the 56th minute. And then there was like a flurry of goals in a short space of time. In the 56th and 58th minute, Perth Glory scored. In the 60th and 64th, it was brought back to 3-2. Leave that alone. Brought back to 3-2 by Western. In the 69th minute, it was brought back to 3-3 by Perth Glory. 4-3 from Western in the 75th. In the 78th, Perth made it 4-4. And in the 84th minute, Lusticia, I don't know what the name is pronounced, but Western United made it 5-4. A game that you do not see in every league every day of the year.
You must watch that game.
Yeah.
And if you have football mob, it's as easy as eating pie, and that's very easy.
Yes, he's advertising for free, so if anybody at FotMob wants to throw money our way, please do shout out to me. Leave a comment below, we'll get back to you. Anyway, yes, the game of the week there. Australian League isn't known for defending by any means, but that's a decent score for any game anywhere. Right, so let's have a look at the week ahead. And we have, another load of games coming up. We're going to start by looking to the last game in the period we have ahead, which is Churchill Brothers against TRAU, TRAU, in the I-League Championship, if you like. They're playing for the Championship. There's no chance of getting promoted, and this is a game between first and second. Churchill had a good start, won their first game 5-2, then they drew, and then since then they've won, I think, 2 games on the bounce. This is their 5th game. TRAU have got, I think, something weird, like 4 points, but they're somehow second because of draws and what have you. I can't say I've seen much of either team, but Churchill have looked more impressive on the basis of results. Redmond, who do you think is going to win this game? There you are on the screen.
Yeah, I feel like I'm just going to double my score for a 3-0 win. Churchill Brothers.
He's going for a 3-0 win, having predicted on the thing you're going to see at the end, a 1-0 win. Somehow 1 times 2 is 3. That's not doubling it. I also went for a 3-0 win, so I feel like I've been robbed. Churchill seems stronger all round than anybody else there, based on the first few results. Early days. It'll probably be a TRAU win now that we've said that. Moving across the Indian Ocean, and then across the Pacific Ocean, and then across the Andes, and then further still across most of Argentina to see Velez against Banfield in the Copa Diego Armando Maradona playoff. Now, what I hadn't realised was this is a tournament I'd realised this was a tournament to replace the league, but they've actually done away with the people who were running the league. They'd created that's disgusting, and people are looking at that, Redmond. This Copa Diego Armando Maradona playoff was basically kind of a normalisation of the league, taking control back from an independent entity that had pushed up to being a 30-team league and into the hands of the AFA, the Argentinian Football Association. Basically, the final was a couple of weeks ago when Boca beat Banfield. The winner of this tournament gets a place in the 2022 Copa Sudamericana. However, Boca are already enrolled into the 2022 Copa Libertadores, so they're now playing off for that place in the Copa Sudamericana between the highest ranked team that got nowhere in the most recent Argentine league, which is Velez Sarsfield, and Banfield, who were runners-up in the Copa Diego Armando Maradona. So it is a weird game. It is a strange game. And Redmond, who do you think is going to win this game?
Well, I'm going to stay with my score because Banfield's been runners-up and I'm staying with it.
Good. You're staying with the thing you told me was your final answer. I'm glad to see. He said 2-0. I expect this to be a very, very tough affair because intercontinental competition is continental competition is the lifeblood of big teams in places like Argentina, and it's frequent that big team won't get anywhere. But I think only for the Copa Libertadores or the Copa Sudamericana. So I'm going to plumb for Velez winning 1-0 against Banfield.
One.
Now, we'll move back, keep on going in the same direction. We're going to go up north now, this time to Europe, and all to the eastern end, or central end, depending on your perspective, where we see in Turkey it is Supercup time. Istanbul Basaksehir are playing Trabzonspor. Istanbul are currently, Basaksehir, I should say, are currently 15th, while Trabzonspor are in their usual 6th position. This game is going to be played in the Atatürk Stadium, which is the same one that Liverpool fans will always remember from, 14 years ago, 15 years ago? 15 years ago, 15 and a half years ago. Trabzonspor, basically the perennial fourth team in Turkish football. They normally are fourth or fifth. They're not one of the big three, and frequently somebody last few years, Basaksehir will come up above them. Or in previous years to that, you will see, currently this year, I think is it Alanyaspor or Antalyaspor, I can't remember, one of those is currently flying high. This is proving to be the difficult second year for Basaksehir. They didn't do great in the Champions League, but they got to the Champions League group stages. There are the ones to dislike them, but they are a force to be reckoned with, and they've not gone weak just because they aren't doing well. I think focus was on Europe, where they didn't do so well, but you've got to focus on that, don't you? At least with the possibility of getting that third place in the group. Stop dragging all the attention, please, sir. What is your expectation of the game, Redmond?
Well, I'm going to stay with it.
Nobody knows what it is.
I'm 2-0. I'm going to stay with my 2-0.
To Istanbul Basaksehir. Okay, well, much as I would cry Talata if I saw Trezabon from anywhere, I'm going to stick with Basaksehir as well. They've got the power. They don't have a distraction now. I'm expecting it to be 3-1 to them. That game taking place tomorrow night. The times are going to be on these when you look them up at the end. Also taking place on Thursday, jumping forward and coming back towards Spain, we are going to the Spanish Primera, which is the women's league there, where Levante play Atletico Madrid. This is second against third. These are the big teams in their cities traditionally. Atletico, much bigger in women's football than Real. Levante, far bigger than Valencia. It's also second against third, as I think Levante are third, while Atleti are second. They're both on the same points. They've scored the same goals, 31 in both cases. Levante have conceded 2 more goals than Atleti, but they do have a game in hand. So it should be a good game. It's probably the best midweek women's game going. There was a game in England, it's not as good, but there's a full series of games in Spain. Redmond, what's your thinking on this?
Well, I feel like I'm actually going to stay with my score.
Okay, just you're doing the thing that I asked you to do. Good. And what is that score? They don't know, and they want to know why.
It's 0-2.
So 2-0 to Atleti. Yeah, stop rocking the computer. And why did you go for that?
Because they have Atletico Madrid women have fought much more firepower than them in the men's.
Levante. Mm-hmm. Okay, they're the same actually, but
I'm plumbing for them getting a good win off this time.
Okay. I think Levante are on the creep. I think they're going forward, and I think Atleti's probably not putting as much focus on the women at the moment because they're doing so well in the men's. I don't know if that has any impact on it. Atleti's setup is amazing. We saw the stadium for the main stadium. Please leave us alone.
It's a beautiful stadium.
Yeah, but I doubt that the women are playing there very much. I reckon